Hello and welcome to my creative space. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Welcome to another DIY video. If you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe and join this creative squad. For today's video, I have 3 easy and quick farmhouse decor ideas. I hope you're excited to see how I created them. Let's get started. For DIY number 1, I'm taking 2 of these Dollar Tree hanging baskets. I'm going to use some popsicle sticks, stain, this little knob, and a little bit of black paint. Alright, once I have that, I'm going to take my baskets and I am going to start removing the chains off of them because I'm not going to use those. Here are my baskets. So I basically take the one at the top and snap it inside the one at the bottom. I hope that makes sense. You could glue these together. I decided not to because I want to be able to switch the decoration I put inside. All right, now I'm going to take this tape and because of the circle that it has and I am going to use that as reference to trace a circle. So I take 5 popsicle sticks. For the sixth one, I'm gonna cut it a little bit shorter, and that is going to be the piece that is gonna hold my circle together. As you can see, I'm gluing it in the middle. Now I am going to take the tape and I'm going to trace that circle that I need. I am going to take my scissors and I am going to start cutting this circle, and that one piece came off, so I just had to re-glue it back in place and it was totally fine. I continue to cut this popsicle sticks. Alright, now that I have my circle, I took my sanding sponge just to sand down the edges so they wouldn't be so rough. And there is my circle. Now I am going to take this wooden rod and glue my little knob on top of it. That is going to help us in a little bit. Now I'm going to take my stain and I am going to start staining my circles. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do for now. Now I'm going to grab my chalk black paint and I am going to paint this little knob, and here is the reason why I glue it onto the stick so I wouldn't get it on my fingers. Now it's time to start gluing everything together, so I'm going to take my glue gun and add some hot glue to the circle that is going to be at the top, and I will take my circle and just glue it in the middle the best as I can. Now it's time to glue the one on the inside, and my glue gun wouldn't fit in there, so I had to add the glue onto the circle and then glue that down. And then lastly, I took my little knob, some hot glue, and glued that right in the middle as well. Here is what it's looking like. Now it's time to just decorate it, and I took this greenery from the Dollar Tree and I just basically shaped it into a circle or a smaller circle. I shoved it in there. I could remove the whole top, but I was lazy. Then I just added a little candle in the middle. I wish I had a big one, by the way. But anyway, here is how this cute lantern turned out. I love this lantern. For DIY number 1, here are some of the items I'm going to be using. That window, the welcome from this other sign, this piece of wood, some paint, and another home sign. Now, I am going to start by removing the back of this window. That is going to help us a lot to accomplish this project. Now, I'm going to remove the front of this window. Once I have that, because we removed the back of it, this other window has holes, and I'm going to fill them in with this spackle. That is going to help us have this window looking a lot nicer and better. Alright, so the reason why I removed the back of this window is because I was only able to find one window. So this is what I had to do in order to make it work. Now I am going to take these other 2 wooden pieces. These came from a brain puzzle, one of those brain puzzles that the Dollar Tree has. And they come in perfectly handy on this project because they were just thin enough for me to be able to do what I will do later. All right, so I am going to take my Waverly paint, and I don't remember what the name of the color is, so look in the description box, there it will be there, but it's like an ivory color, and I am going to paint both of these windows on this color. Now as you can see, I applied the same technique to these wooden pieces, that way I was able to paint them. And then I am going to add some hot glue to the wooden pieces and glue those in place. Once they are both glued, I added some more glue and glue my second window because the second window was thinner. Now I am going to take my brown chalk paint and I am going to distress this window. I could use my wax, but you know, I don't like adding it if I am going to be gluing things on it, and I usually do it at the end. All right, so here is the wooden piece that I was originally going to use, but it was too small, so I went and looked at my stash and I found this other piece that, don't mind that hole that it has, it will get covered, don't worry. All right, so here is the sign that I was talking about that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. It's a metal sign and it says home, and I was like, this is perfect, welcome home. So I am going to take those to the side. I am going to glue these windows into place. So I add some hot glue and then I just glue them into the wooden piece. Now I took 2 of these Jenga blocks to hold my second window, my thinner window, because it was kind of like wobbling, so this helped it stay in place. Now I am going to be adding some greenery to my sign. These that I'm holding right now, they came from Walmart, and I'm sure you've seen me use them before. Now I just grabbed my pliers to be able to twist the wire in place, and I just added some hot glue to make sure it was going to be secure. I added these other 2 pieces. That greenery came from the Dollar Tree, and I am going to glue those and tie them together. Now I'm going to create a bow, and I am going to create it the exact same way I always do, so I'm just gonna let you watch. Once my bow and my greenery were ready, I took an extra piece of this other ribbon that I had from the Dollar Tree, and I glued my bow onto the greenery, and then I just tie it together with that extra piece of ribbon. This was so everything looked like it was just one piece, and it looked nicer and cleaner. And then I'm just going to finish up by gluing this other piece down, and that completes this piece. All right, now it's time to glue this in place, and this is going to come in very perfect because it covers perfectly that little hole that was already on the wooden piece. Now it's time to glue down my metal pieces, and for the welcome word I decided to go for the corner on this window, and then for the bigger one I'm gonna leave it exactly where it is, and I didn't want to move it. That's why I'm kind of like struggling to get the glue in there. I just liked it exactly where it was, and I just try to get the glue in there the best as I could. And that completes this project. Here is the end result. I love how these windows turned out. For my last DIY, I'm going to take this Dollar Tree sign, some paint, and some greenery, and some decals. Once I have my sign ready to go, I am going to take my Waverly chalk paint. It's like an ivory color. I will look up the name, I promise. And I am going to be using that to paint this sign. Now, I am trying to distress it as well, so I'm not perfectly going to paint the edges. Once I have that, I'm going to take another brush, and I am going to paint the edges with that just to make sure that everything looks nice. Now I'm going to take my greenery, and this greenery is from Walmart. I just, you know, I like taking things apart, so I just have them individually like this, and I'm just going to be creating a wreath with this. And yeah, I'm just gonna glue all my pieces together. Now I'm gonna take these other 2 pieces and I will glue them kind of like behind it so they can kind of poke through. And once I glue them into place, this is what it's looking like. Now it's time to put this sign together. Here is my wreath. I'm gonna place it there for now, and here are my wording that I decided to print with my best friend's Cricut machine, and I just put home our favorite place to be because I feel like it's so true with us. Now I'm just going to basically stick them on this, and I really like this sign because it's so simple, but yet I just feel like it's so high end. But I don't know, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. Now I'm just going to glue my little wreath into place, and once I have that, I'm going to distress a little bit more. And I just decided to go for the edges because I wanted to leave the middle just how it is because I really love it. I went in a little bit, but not too much. Now I took this other piece of ribbon from the Dollar Tree and created a little tag, and that is basically it. I really love how this project turned out. Here is the end result. I love this one, and I think all of them are my favorite because they're so easy to do and yet so pretty. Let me know in the comments down below which one was your favorite DIY. Also, don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you on my next DIY. Bye!